Hello all and welcome to All Red. If any of you have watched my show before, you know I do not like to be the bearer of bad news. In fact, I like to keep things very, very upbeat and positive on this channel, but I cannot help but share this. I don't think the Premier League race is over by any means. I do not think that Liverpool have the Premier League title in the bag, even though they have a 12-point lead over Arsenal at the moment. And I'm going to show you exactly why, based on historical data and based on last season, where this exact same core group of players, this exact same team, did something that we didn't think they were going to do. And I have concerns. I have major concerns, especially after the last week that we've seen this Liverpool team. So check this out. This is the past season. So last season, the last 9 matches from last season, the 2023-2024. And what I have done is I have said, if last season, the last 9 games of last season were this season, based on the points total that both teams currently have, what would end up happening, right? So let's dive in. This is fascinating and not for a good reason. So starting from the bottom going up, it would have been April 4th, Liverpool beat Sheffield United, Arsenal beat Luton Town. Okay, so that would put each team, Liverpool at 73, Arsenal at 61. Again, this is based on their current points totals from this season, okay? But we're using last season's matches to see what that might look like if everything stayed the same and both teams had a similar finish to the season. All right, then it was the dreaded 2-2 Manchester United draw. It was Liverpool now at 674. Arsenal beat Brighton, so they would have 64. Okay, moving on to the next game when Liverpool lost at home to Crystal Palace and Arsenal lost at home to Aston Villa. Both teams, their points totals would be staying the same. So hey, at this point in the season, we'd probably be saying, all right, 6 matches left, 10-point gap. Great, you know, Liverpool dropped points to Palace, but Arsenal again, they dropped points to Villa. We're feeling great. 10 points clear with what is that? 6 matches to go. How could it end up anything but a Liverpool title? Well, buckle up, guys. Okay, Liverpool beat Fulham. Great. All right, 5 matches to go. We still have a 10-point gap, and Arsenal beat Wolves. So 77 to 67. This is where it gets really dicey. So Liverpool end up losing to Everton away. That's now 7-point gap because Arsenal thrashed Chelsea. And it's 7 points, guys, with 4 games remaining. Liverpool still have not mathematically won this thing. Then it's a terrible draw to West Ham away. 2-2 draw. Liverpool have 78 points. Arsenal eke out a win against Spurs. And it's now a 5-point gap. Okay? Now, this is where it gets really interesting because this match right here, this is where Liverpool and Arsenal are set to play this season. Arsenal have to come to Anfield. But if this game happens with a 5-point gap, do you know what would happen if Arsenal win that match? It is now a 2-point gap with 2 matches to go. Okay? That's what would happen. That's insane. Now, that we can't predict that. We can't say that that's going to happen. But if you keep the results the same, let's keep moving. So, Liverpool beat Spurs 4-2. They still have a 5-point gap because Arsenal beat Bournemouth 3-0. Okay? Now, second to last weekend, Liverpool draw to Villa. And Arsenal eke out a 1-0 win against United. The gap is now 3 points. We don't know what the goal difference would be at this point in the campaign, but a 3-point gap going into the final weekend of the Premier League after having a 12-point lead would be an actual disaster. It would. You just can't put a Band-Aid on it. That would be an absolute disaster. But this is what happened last season, guys. That's why I'm saying it is not over yet. Okay? Historically, you just can't say it's over. I've heard a lot of people say it is over. When we had a 15-point gap, it was like, nope, we're done. There's no way Arsenal are coming back. There's no way Liverpool are dropping that many points under Arne Slot. Guys, we got to be honest with ourselves here, okay? Now, we know what happened. So Liverpool, based on last season, we just have to say it, that would have been a 3-point gap at the end of the season. Liverpool win on the final day of the league, okay? They win against Wolves 2-0, and they finally secure the title. Okay, so that's just based on last season. Now, if we pull up the remaining fixtures for this season, now we're going top down. Liverpool their strength of schedule versus Arsenal's strength of schedule. Okay, just look at Arsenal's side. Fulham, Everton, Brentford, Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and then the Liverpool game, Newcastle, and Southampton. Okay, there's not a lot of great teams in there. I know Brentford have been good, but that's an away game for Brentford. That's home for Arsenal. I know Crystal Palace have a good defense, but that's, again, another home game for Arsenal. Bournemouth's tough, but that's another home game for Arsenal. Newcastle, again, that's another home game for Arsenal. So all of the toughest opponents for Arsenal, they have to go to Arsenal. They have to go to the Emirates, okay? Except for that Liverpool match where Arsenal have to come to Anfield. On the Liverpool side, you look at what they've got remaining. Everton at Anfield. I know Everton have been poor this season, but we know what can happen there, right? We know what can happen in a derby. Anything can happen. Fulham, West Ham, Leicester, Spurs at Anfield. Chelsea, it's going to be an away game for Liverpool, so they have to go to Stamford Bridge. I haven't been super impressed with Chelsea, but that's probably the toughest game they have remaining apart from Arsenal at Anfield. And then it's Brighton away. That could be tough as well. And then the final day is Crystal Palace at home. That's a lot tougher than Arsenal having to go away to Southampton on the final day. So honestly, it's all in Liverpool's hands. It is. 12-point gap. Both teams have 9 matches remaining. It is in Liverpool's hands in a big way, in a massive way. And so, if Liverpool were to win against Everton, get a win away at Fulham, get a home win against West Ham, and they have 9 points out of 3 games, with then 6 remaining, depending on what Arsenal do, I just feel like the momentum has absolutely monstrosity levels shifted in the past week, where Arsenal make it through to the next round of the Champions League. They have to face Real Madrid, but that's just a good tie for them, not because they're going to win that, but just because, hey, they've made it further than Liverpool in the Champions League, and now they have to go up against Madrid. And they beat Chelsea. And so they finally they won that game in hand against probably their toughest opponent remaining, except for Arsenal. I know you can make the case that maybe Bournemouth or Newcastle are tougher than Chelsea, but that was a tough match, and they ended up eking it out. And so, anyways, guys, I don't want to be a downer, but honestly, this was kind of shocking to me. I was thinking about it last night and then this morning, and I was like, I just need to look at what happened last season and see, like, what if this season ended the same way that last season ended? And it was, I had no idea that it was that bad last season. I knew it was bad, but man, it's really similar. I mean, the feeling that this season, if we didn't have a 12-point gap right now, we would be absolutely gutted. And I think we're already gutted, but we would absolutely be rock bottom gutted. But because of that 12-point gap, we need to see it out. But I just don't think it's going to be easy, guys. I really don't. And I don't think it's over. So I would love to know what you guys think. Drop your comments in below. And as always, guys, I made this video because we need to back the club more than ever. We need to back the club. And we need to have the mindset that it is not over. Because if we're complacent as fans, the team might fall into that same category. And we need to say, up the Reds with all of our might.